Hello and welcome to Dover. Specifically, I'm at Archcliffe Fort and the Emmaus homelessness charity. I've been here before. You may have seen one of my previous videos, and this charity shop has recently been refurbished. And if you love all things flower arranging, crafting and charity shop thrift hauls, this is the channel for you. So why don't you consider subscribing, and then you'll never miss out on my latest videos. I don't normally get waylaid by the clothes, but the new layout and the lure of these Christmas jumpers caught my eye. Not only is the refurbished outside of the building looking fabulous, but the inside of the Archcliffe Fort has a total transformation, and the first thing I spotted was this display of blue and white crockery. Because this charity shop is so spacious, you've got plenty of time to scan all the shelves and then rescan them before you get to the till. One thing I noticed was there a good supply of old-fashioned stuff, including this collection of hunter plates by Mayotte. And of course it's the old-fashioned stuff that always attracts my eye, particularly the red and white transferware, and for the first time ever in a charity shop, these three dishes have all been taped together. This is the coaching scene. And behind is a design quite modern in look, and that's by Johnson Brothers for 50p. The pattern's called Lotus. This teapot and sugar pot set caught my eye. It's by a company called Silit, S-I-L-I-T. It looks very modern in a deco 1930s kind of way. I wonder whether you know anything more about it. If you do, let me know in the comments. And if you need any glassware, this is definitely the place to come. There were two huge display racks filled from top to bottom, all sparkly clean and all very reasonably priced. And if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know my eye is always drawn to the flower frogs. This one here, I think it said it was £3, but I don't think it fits that container, which was for sale separately. I found a better one that fitted in and left it there. Now I'm wondering whether this vase, or is it a dessert bowl? I think it's probably a vase. I like the turned over rim to it, and I'm wondering whether it's Bagley glass. I picked up something very similar in green with its original flower frog inside at a car boot fair in the summer. Such an exciting find. Now, are you in the market for a complete dinner set? Can you guess the maker here? Soup bowls, plates, serving plates, fabulous collection of Wedgwood. This is the Beaconsfield pattern. And be still my beating heart. Check this out, a ceramic posy bowl for £2. Should I? Shouldn't I? Let me know in the comments. You just knew it was going to come home with me, didn't you? I absolutely love this. It's got a little bit of ridging here, and I did wonder whether it was a Denby piece, because I have got a jug that I bought from the charity shop several years ago. It's the same colour with the ridging, but I can't see a maker's mark anywhere. A really great vase, particularly for those little short flower heads. You know, when sometimes when you unwrap some flowers and the heads ping off. So I'm imagining chrysanthemums with their petals resting on either side of the container. I'm always intrigued by the ugly stuff too. I think this is either a candle holder or a pair of vases. It's in a lovely honeyish yellow colour with marbling on it and ridge details. It definitely fell in the category of ugly vase, so I left it behind on the shelf. This is the same set of shelves on the other side. Do you see that huge jug with a pink band at the bottom? I had a look at that, £5. It's very, very similar to something that one of my followers gifted to me a couple of years ago. And just before I left the Archcliffe Fort, I spotted these plates. I wondered whether they might be Cornish ware with those classic blue and white stripes, but I think they're made by Stonecraft. I couldn't quite remember how to get to the main charity shops in town, so I used Google Maps to show me the way, and I always do this in towns that I'm not very familiar with. My next stop is Scope, and you see that huge sign there, everything £1. I spotted that last time I visited, and I thought it was a one-off sale, but this must be the end-of-line shop because everything truly was £1. So the blue and white here caught my eye. I'm always thinking of Lady Mary Beth and her fabulous YouTube channel. Did you spot that that teapot set was made in West Germany? Just round the corner is the British Heart Foundation. This is actually a furniture store, but they do have a small section of home goods and an upstairs too. There wasn't much upstairs that interested me, so it was down back to the ground floor and have one last look in the window. If I'm honest, I'm not entirely sure that I'd recommend Dover for a day out, but if you happen to be in the area, it's certainly got a good selection of charity shops, including this one called Mind, which didn't actually pop up on my Google Maps. On either side of the front door, they had 2 display cases with all their high quality items. At the back of the shop, I spotted this jug by Prinknesh for £2. And further up the street was the Riverside charity shop, which is run by Age Concern. Let's have a look inside. Oh, Paul Pottery! I didn't even have to turn this over. The distinctive mottled grey with the turquoise handles, a casserole dish for £3, and a lovely little Cath Kidston tea set. I ummed and ahed about this. What do you reckon? Should it come home with me? Or perhaps not? And did you guess right? And yes, of course, I bought the Cath Kidston teapot and cups. And the reason for that was I just had this little inkling and I looked them up online and I can see a set just like this selling on eBay for $29.99. So great value for money. And I also discovered that the whole lot is stackable. That will make a really nice Christmas present for someone. It says the 12 days of Christmas, but she's altered the lyrics. In the same shop, I spotted these 4 glass egg cup holders for £2. They caught my eye because, again, I bought a pair of those over the summer from a car boot fair for 50p each. Further up the road again, it was Bernardo's. It was just shut for a couple of minutes, so I popped in on my way back to my car. Did you do this too? Peer in the windows and see what takes your fancy. I stopped off at Sense next, a tiny little shop with a bric-a-brac tucked away right in the far corner. Just scanning the shelves and seeing where anything is sprunging out at me. And look, I quite like this little upcycled saucer that says Merry Christmas. And it's a woodsware piece in the colour or the pattern iris. And this was what you used to get at all the village halls, went out of favour, and now is highly collectible. And what's hiding under these little bits and bobs? An ivy pattern. And when I turn it over, it turns out it's from BHS, British Home Stores, which closed about 25 years ago. I really should get in the habit of looking in the windows first, because once I left the shop, I spotted this candelabra. Just imagine that with 5 candles on your Christmas dinner table and perhaps draped round with ivy. Next stop is the Help the Town charity shop, so a community-based project, absolutely jammed-packed with all sorts of goodies. And at the back of the shop, it had a display cabinet. You can see those Delftware pieces there. This is all their more precious items. Obviously, if you are planning a visit to Dover, don't forget the fantastic Dover Castle. And you can see when you look up the streets, they're just steeped in history. But on the whole, it is quite a rundown area, but that does make the prices very competitive. Our last stop of the day is the Pilgrims Hospices, but do watch on to the end of the video because I've got a bigger thrift haul to share with you. Checking out the window, I spot the fabulous Colin Firth inviting me in to choose my Christmas outfit. But nothing grabbed my eye, so I headed to the other side of the shop, to the homewares. I'm rather taken or just intrigued by these little glass bottles. They look like miniature hyacinth vases, and I'd spotted them in a couple of the other charity shops. 50p each. They do look like they're shaped for bulbs, perhaps for paper white daffodils, something like that. And this blue fan-shaped vase had a little bit of a feel of Silvac about it, but I turned it over and there was no maker's mark on the bottom. And there's got to be Wedgwood Jasperware, so 2 trinket pots here. There were no prices though, but I guess if I'd wanted them, I could have asked about them. Let me know in the comments whether you're a Jasperware fan. Personally, I find the texture just makes my skin crawl a bit like when the teachers used to scrape chalk down the chalkboard at school. But I did spot something I liked, and it's more red and white transfer wear. You always have to do a little bit of digging and be prepared to crouch down a little bit. These plates are £1, made in Staffordshire, the Potteries area of England. Royal Worcester piece, Avon scenes. And talking of Dover Castle, it's set high up on the hill, so practically every side street you look down, you will see the castle off in the distance. Well, that was all that I bought when I went charity shopping in Dover, but of course I have been going to the charity shops elsewhere. Would you like to see what I've bought? It's all got a fabulous festive theme to it. The first thing I've got to show you is this coffee pot. It costs me a whopping 50p at a local church Christmas sale. And look, it's ironstone, made by Johnson Brothers. I'm probably not going to use it as a coffee pot as I'm not a coffee drinker, but I thought if I take off the sticky tape, I could use it as a vase. And the thing that drew me to this was that little pattern at the top. It was reminiscent of a dinner service my parents had when I was a child. I don't think theirs was Johnson Brothers though. I have a feeling it was probably something they collected in the Green Shield stamps. Not bad for 50p. Cup of coffee, anyone? These next items were from a community sale. There was a group of neighbours who were raising funds to do some planting in the street outside their houses. So I picked up this little wooden star for 50p. And look, it's originally from east of India, so I think that must have cost quite a bit of money. But that looked great in amongst my Christmas bits and bobs. I then bought these 2 pendants for 50p each. I'm not going to use them on a necklace, but I have been collecting sparkly brooches. My idea was to make a brooch wreath, but so far I've only had enough to make a little bit of a brooch bouquet. This is something we made at Zoom Flower Club a while back, and if you're a member of my YouTube group, you can watch the video and I'll show you how I made this. A little bit of sparkly bling amongst a festive bouquet. And then I bought this little tin. It looks very reminiscent of an empty can of tuna, but look, it's a candle holder, and this again cost me 50p. It originally came from Tiger. So I don't know whether you watched the video I posted this time last week when I was flicking through a number of my Christmas magazines, and there was a holder reasonably similar to this. So all I need to do is to add in a candle and then collect my bits and pieces from Christmas to decorate the edge of the tin. A bit like this. I'm going to need a smaller star, but you get the idea. A great catch-all for all those little Christmas trimmings that I don't know what else to do with. I got these next 3 items at one of the charity shops in town. A bundle of ribbons for 50p. They'll be great for wrapping around gifts. A little plastic golden candle trimmer. I think these are supposed to be poinsettias. And the candle will pop up through the middle. Like that. And I also bought myself an advent candle. This was £1.50 and looks like originally it came from a shop in Tunbridge Wells. This is very similar to a DIY candle I made a few years ago. I think I've still got the printable available to download from my website. So if you're interested, head to my website, juliedavisflowerworkshops.co.uk, and then click the tab marked shop and scroll down to the end. So I hadn't spotted this originally, but I did spot a lady in front of me holding a candle, and she let me have a sniff of it. It's Christmas scented, and she told me where she found it. And there were 2 others left. So I wonder who picked up the 3rd one. Tell me I'm not the only one that likes a little bit of Christmas trash novels. I really enjoy reading Christmas books or books of the Christmas theme. So this is The Winter Garden, the New York Times #1 bestseller. And then Moonlight Over Manhattan, also a #1 best-selling author. I did actually spot a 3rd one yesterday, but I thought, no, 2 easy read novels is enough for the festive season. Let me know in the comments whether you like reading festive books at this time of the year, or you're a Hallmark movie fan. I'm considering these to be a reading version of a Hallmark movie. And the last thing I bought was a festive tablecloth for £3.50. I'm just wondering how old this is. Just look at the little lace trim. It's the kind of thing I can remember my mum using when she used to sew our skirts and dresses, which would have been in the late 70s, early 80s. I was thinking about removing the trim, but then I turned it over and someone has hand stitched that on. I don't think I can bear to take it off. But what I'm going to use this for is an over tablecloth. And again, I don't know whether you've seen the video when I flicked through the Christmas magazines, but I pointed out a picture that I rather liked of a plain tablecloth, and then it had what looked like a red leopard print. I think it must have been poppies or pansies laid over the top. So this is my version of Christmas leopard print. Not one, I've got 2. I cannot tell you how excited I was when I found this vase. It is almost the matched pair for this one that I had already. Sisters rather than twins. And if you've been following me for a while, and perhaps if you're a member of my Facebook group, Flowers Start World, you'll find a link to that in the notes underneath the video. I'm sure I've shown this vase to you before, and I've talked about there probably being a flower frog that was meant to go inside, because I could feel there was a little cut-out rim around the edge. I don't remember how much I paid for this. It wouldn't have been more than a couple of pounds. So you can imagine that I was particularly delighted when I saw this vase complete with its flower frog for £3.50. Isn't it glorious? Now I do operate with strict 1 in, 1 out protocol. But the thing is, do you think I ought to keep the pair? Or pass on the one that doesn't have the integral flower frog? I could not believe my luck when I spotted this, and may even have given out a little yelp. So let me know in the comments, what should I do? Pass one on or keep both of them? They look absolutely fantastic, packed with spring flowers or even some Christmas greenery. I thought I might have a bit of fun and think about how I was going to set the table for Christmas dinner. I've got my undercloth on first, and before I add the tablecloth, I found this, which is another recent thrifted find. I can't remember how much I paid for it. I'm guessing it might have been £2.50. Found it. This was the picture I was talking about. I've just flicked through my Christmas inspiration book. I've started ripping the pages I like out of my magazines, hole punching them into a file. So this was what I meant by the leopard print red fabric. Poppies, pansies, not quite sure. So what do you think? Have I pulled it off with my thrifted finds? Well, that's all from me for now. Let me know in the comments what was your favourite of my festive themed thrift haul. So I'm going to see where I can find some forest greenery from the garden to add into my brand new container. That's all from me for now, and I'll see you again next time. Right then, where did I put my scissors? And if you'd like to watch me make this table arrangement, don't forget to join my special membership group. All you need to do is follow the link in the description